Hey everybody, it's time we take a closer look at this thing. It's called the JUZHEDC or the JUZHEDC magnetic linkage. I've also been told by a viewer that it is known as the Matrix, or possibly the company that makes it is Matrix in China. And it has several different configurations on the inside. I'm not going to get into details about how it is, how it arrived and everything. If you want to get that, go back to the original video and check that out. Today we're going to explore what these 6 different possible modes are. And right now, as it came in the staggered configuration, and that's been enough to keep me happy for quite a while. But I keep thinking, it's time to take this thing apart. And I noticed here, I had it apart a moment ago. This plate's on correctly, and I have this plate on upside down because that notch is supposed to be down here. Doesn't matter. We'll correct that in a minute. But the point is, I want to show you tonight what each one of these are like, and we'll discover together whether they're worthwhile or not. So here's the first staggered linkage. This is what it arrived in, and as I take it apart here, you'll see. Let's see if I can make this a little easier on myself. You have to get these plates lined up in the middle. Once they're lined up in the middle, do you see there's a bit of a keyhole notch right here and here? It's the same on these plates. There's a bit of a key that sticks out. You have to get that lined up in the middle. So there's 4 balls in each one. We'll just leave them where they are for the moment. And this is the staggered configuration. Now, it doesn't line up exactly with the pictures here, but it is correct in the sense that there are 2 magnets on this side. Whoops. 2 magnets on this side and 1, 2, 3 magnets on this side. So let's go ahead and make some changes. And to make those changes, we are going to start with going to staggered linkage number 2. Okay, so that brings us to staggered linkage number 2. You might have noticed I flipped things around so that they're oriented correctly now. This matches this, this matches this. And I did not put in all the screws back in because I did not need to, just to save us a little time. If I was going to keep it in this configuration, well, I'd probably put the rest of the screws in, maybe, just so that they're always in some place that I know where they're at. Or I'd maybe put them in storage so that they don't get lost. It did come with 2 extra screws. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. It came with some plastic beads. These appear to be, what are they? Silicone nitride, maybe. But they're non-magnetic and they don't feel like metal. But now we're in the staggered linkage number 2. So let's see what happens when we try that out. I want to be sure, again, to line up this notch with this notch. Otherwise, you're upside down. You have to get it in the middle to get through the key slot. Now we're on this side, and I think I'm going to drop it down from the top and then go from the other side. Okay, so here we are. Whoa, whoa, very unstable. Very unstable. Fell apart on me very easily. And I forgot to mention that I left these little balls inside here too. I wasn't going to do that for each one of these little tests. But let's get that fixed. Let's get that fixed and find out what is going on, because that was a bit disturbing. Okay, the bottom piece is on. Now that piece is on. Unless, is there a slim chance that I installed these magnets opposing each other? My gosh, I did. Okay, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. So I didn't pay attention. Instead of being north on one side and south on the other side, they're either both north on both sides or north or south on both sides. So sorry about that. Let's correct that. Okay, now we're back in business. Now one side should be north, one side should be south. Let's find out what happens. You know what we'll do? I forgot that I dropped a ball on the floor, so I'm gonna have to find that. Give me 1 sec. Okay, there, I found it. Now we're back in business. Let's go ahead and plop this puppy down. Okay, now they should at least not be unattracted to each other. So you see, using one side sort of affects the other side. Although, I have to say, it all depends on which way you're holding it. Like, it doesn't have enough energy when it's in a position with gravity against it. But now, if you squeeze it in your fingers, that's an interesting back and forth. It's sort of a single click in either direction. So Staggered Linkage 2. That just feels really soft to me. So I think I want something a little bit stronger. Let's see what's next. Okay. There. Okay, now we're in the traditional linkage as shown on the screen here. Let's see how that performs. And I had some issues there with, it's kind of tough dealing with these magnets. The screws are magnetic, and therefore they get in the way when you're trying to get your magnets in and out. But we came through eventually. Okay, here is traditional. Well, okay, they attract perfectly, which makes sense. 3 on each side. Nothing's going to happen. But if I hold one steady on the bottom, then I get a nice click. Single click. And do the same thing on the bottom. If you hold both sides firmly. So that's entertaining. That's a little bit better than before. And I want to reiterate that these little plunger ball things, they give it a name. They call them ball plungers. They're spring-loaded bearings, and they go one on each side. And essentially all they do is add texture. So for sake of this argument, we're going to leave them out. And then when I decide when I like one of these, I'm going to come back and revisit it. Traditional, I think, is one of the ones I might come back and try putting this in. So, you know, and as a matter of fact, since I feel that way about it right now, rather than have to rebuild it later, let's just go ahead and test it. I know this isn't perfect, but nothing's perfect, right? So I think you know, if you put these both on one side, I noticed then you'll have texture on one side, and if you flip it over, you don't have any texture. I could show you that here. So now, as long as I'm on this side and push down, that's nice. If I do it slowly, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks. But if I flip it over, and now I'm being sure not to obstruct the bottom underneath, so I'm not touching the bottom piece, it swings freely. Now, I don't feel those 2 ball plungers at all. It just swings free and loose. Now it does, you can hear it clicking along. It's going against those 2 ball plungers, but there's not much resistance at all from this side. When you do it from this side and you're pushing down, then you really feel it. And then, of course, there's the option of manipulating it from both sides at the same time. So it all gets a little confusing. So I'll keep that in mind. I think maybe I like traditional, but maybe without the ball plungers. So let's see what's next. Silent vibration. Okay, hold your horses. Okay, now we're in the silent vibration mode. Let's find out what happens here. You know what? I'm going to take out these ball plungers. Okay, let's put the bottom piece on first, put the top piece on next. Okay, silent vibration. Oh, if you leave the bottom part open, it's a very nice back and forth. It does have a vibratory feedback to it. I like that. I like that a lot. And then if you hold the bottom side steady or move them back and forth, it's a bit different than the previous one too. So I like this too. Silent vibration. I might stick with that. That's better than, that's kind of close to the original configuration that it came in, which I forget the name of now, but much more smoother. So I could possibly see this in combination with those ball plungers, but we're not going to mess with that again. Let's see what's next. Positive, negative combinations. Sounds like this might be a waste of time, but we'll try it. Okay, here we go with the positive negative combination. Let's see, I want this to go this way. And then this one will go this way. Alright, uh-oh, I've lost a ball. We gotta find out where the ball came from. Oh, for crying out loud. Why is this so difficult all of a sudden? Okay, it's not on that side, so it's on this side. Mustn't misplace our balls. Okay, here we go. Well, I don't care for that at all. It's a very rough, gotta push down hard on it to get it to change, and then the weight of gravity itself interferes. It has to be hanging underneath. Even that doesn't even want to do it. I don't like positive negative combinations here. I don't like that at all. So we're gonna move on. What do we got? Sliding mode. North on one side, south on the other side. Let's give that a shot. Okay, so sliding mode, now we have everything is now, let me turn these back right around. It was just a little easier for me to reach the screws. Everything is north on one side and south on the other side. So let's go ahead and try that. Which appears to be the last one. So this is the last one, thank goodness. Now that I'm finally done doing this, I've gotten good at changing the screws. Sliding mode. Well, this seems awfully familiar to something else we did. So they're attracted constantly in whichever mode whichever direction you slide them. One can be one all the way, one forward. They slide together. They want to, unless you force them apart. There is a bit of a step. If I hold one steady, I get 1, 2 clicks. No, I wouldn't go to this mode. I like it. I like the one, I forget which mode it is now. We'll probably go back to it. When I find it, I'll go back to it and we'll talk about that a little bit. I like it when there's, at least with this model, this design, when you move one side and you leave the other side free, that you feel something else happening on the other side. Sort of an opposite reaction as opposed to having it follow. So let me go back through these and figure out which one it was that I liked the best, and we'll talk about that for a little bit. Okay, so it turns out silent vibration is the one for me, and that's how I have it set up now. So we're going to go ahead and put this back together. This part would go down first. Remember to orient the notch with the notch. Okay, now we're back to an interesting vibration mode. I think I like that. And to enhance that, I think what I'm going to do is try putting in those little spring-loaded bearings. And I will put them both on the same side, facing the same direction. That way, if I don't like it one way, I could sort of flip it over and see how the other side feels. So let's try that. Oh, backwards. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. More resistance, and when I hit home, you see what's happening on the back there? Sorry, I don't mean to be chucking the finger at anybody. A little bit of springiness. Let's try it from this side. Okay, well the two ball bearing, spring-loaded ball bearings are giving it enough tension to keep this piece, this plate, in position. It would seem. Put it in the middle. It stays. Put it out at the end. Okay, it doesn't want to stay out at the end. But from this side, I like it. So I guess to sum everything up, if you piss around with it enough, you'll find something you like. It's pretty unusual. It's interesting. If you like things to take apart, then this is definitely one of those. Seems like I didn't get very good at managing the magnetism and the screws until the very end there, which you probably couldn't even see because I had it speeded up so much. But it got to be a little bit frustrating. But like I said, towards the end, it was a little bit easier to deal with. So I don't know. I think I've given you enough information for you to make your own decision. I think it's interesting. If I lost it, I don't think I'd buy another one. But other than that, there you go. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.